ISWAP claims responsibility for attack on Kuje custodial facility. APC delegates ask court to stop Masari's replacement as Tinubu's running mate. FCCPC to sanction discos over failure to comply with electricity industry rules. And on the foreign scene, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson set to resign from office. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. The Islamic State for West Africa Province, ISWAP, has claimed responsibility for the attack on Kuje Medium Security Custodial Center, Abuja, in which over 600 inmates, including Boko Haram commanders, were released. The group claimed the attack in a 30-second viral video which showed the gunmen setting ablaze vehicles parked in the facility. The Kuje attack comes after a convoy of cars carrying the advanced team of security guards, protocol and media officers ahead of the president's trip to Daura for Salah came under terrorist attack. Meanwhile, authorities of the Kuje Custodial Center say no fewer than 879 inmates escaped when the center came under attack on Tuesday night. Of this number, the center says it has rearrested at least 443, while personnel of the Niger Security and Civil Defense Corps attached to the custodial center was killed and 3 personnel of the service seriously injured. Musa Luka was at the custodial center and reports that ISWAP has claimed responsibility for the attack.
Burned vehicles, especially burned buildings and generally quiet atmosphere welcome visitors to the center. It came under heavy shelling on Tuesday night when terrorists broke into the custodial center using explosive devices through the main entrance and the fence of the facility. Presently, 551 inmates are currently in custody, while 443 inmates are still at large. Government functionaries have been visiting the facility to ascertain the extent of damage with a view of restoring and equipping it to forestall future occurrence. Among the functionaries is the Minister of Defense, Bashir Magashi, who had earlier confirmed the attack.
I think we are trying to see what we can do to ensure that all the escapees are brought back to the prison yard. And I think the prison is accommodating about 994 inmates and SPP about, we have about 600 already inside now.
Following shortly was the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Shuaibu Belgore, and the FCT Minister, Musa Bello, accompanied by the Goma of Kuje, Al-Haji Haruna Tanko Jibrin.
At least we have retrieved about 300 out of about 600 that got out of the jail cells. And the retrieval is going on. We received reports that there are still about 50-60 that have been intercepted somewhere just a little outside town here.
The gallant officers that tried their best, and also to sympathize over the death of a very fine, gallant officer from the Nigerian Civil Defense Authority who was gunned down by the criminals.
The residents of Kuje community who are apprehensive that the escaped terrorists may be lurking around the unleashed mayhem of the community narrated their experience and urged the federal government to address the situation.
They see like this thing don't too much. They don't always too much because so kind of things they always happen for prison. Maybe today, maybe say tomorrow they will talk. Because it don't always happen steady, like yesterday we things solved yesterday. We did Junction prison. We did on Junction there, we just stand. Before we know, we just hear something like that. Thing just explode quick. Dim, the first time, second one explode. Dim. Before we know, just hear soldier man say, no, begin run. Soldier man wait there, when he's supposed to go, come prison, to come begin the base. We too come begin the business. So all of us come begin the run. One day, for one day house, come hear people. They come, they shout, they shoot up and down yesterday. People got uniform begin come out, begin to pursue everybody.
His bomb that exploded yesterday, last night, and it scared a lot of people around the scatter. And I feel bad about it. For years now, I've been living in this Kuje, I hear insecurity, I hear about bomb, but I have never experienced such a thing like this.
Meanwhile, the service says it will deploy its Corrections Information Management System in synergy with National Identity Management Commission to track all fleeing inmates and return them to custody. It also confirmed that DCP Abba Kyari and other VIPs held in the facility did not escape, adding that some of the attackers were killed, with others escaping with gunshot wounds.
From the Kuje prison, I am Musa Luka Musa, Trust TV.
And a fighter jet targeting terrorists has accidentally bombed villagers at Kukuna village in Safana local government area of Katsina State. Now, details of the accident are unclear, but many lives were reportedly lost. The jet is said to have hit the wrong target in the operation launched against camps of bandits in the area. Spokesman for the Nigeria Air Force, Edward Gabquet, could not be reached as at the time of filing in this report. Abdullahi Ahmadi now joins us live from Katsina to give us an update on the situation. Abdullahi.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. So what is the situation there concerning the Air Force jet?
Well, like you said in your introduction, Kunkuna village is a farming community in Safana district of Safana local government area of Katsina State. And attack happened on Tuesday night. The military jet was trying to target bandit routes. There is a major bandit route very close to the village, that is the village, that the bandit usually routes. Unfortunately, they mistakenly attacked the village, and so far about 6 people are currently receiving medical attention in Dusum Marginal Hospital. 7 with major injuries are to Katsina Federal Medical Center. 2 are currently receiving medical attention at the orthopedic hospital here in Katsina. 1 woman was reported killed during attack. There is no official statement either by the military authorities, police, or any other security agents in Katsina. According to some reports from Safana local government area this morning, normality has been restored, and the villagers have continued to go about their normal businesses. That is it.
All right. Is there any reports of any deployment of military personnel or aid workers there to actually help with the injured?
No, they're currently in the hospital, and they are receiving medical attention from the medical part there. Like I said, 6 are currently at Dusum Marginal Hospital, and 7 at the Medical Center. 2 at the Pedic Hospital in Katsina. There's no any deployment of either aid workers or anybody to assist the injured.
All right. So thank you very much, Abdullahi, for that update. We'll still keep in touch for any developments concerning that story. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. So that was Abdullahi Ahmadi giving us an update on the friendly fire that was actually exchanged by the Nigeria Air Force. Meanwhile, relatives of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack victims on Wednesday staged a peaceful protest in Kaduna, demanding immediate release of the remaining victims from the hands of their abductors. The protest is sequel to a recent threat by the terrorists that they will start slaughtering the abductees if negotiations for their release fail. The report.
All we are saying, free our people. All we are saying, free our people.
Despite series of protests by the relatives of the abducted passengers and negotiations, about 50 people are still in captivity. Although a number of the abducted victims were released unharmed, the remaining abducted passengers are in danger following the recent threat by the abductors that they will start slaughtering the abductees should the negotiations fail to yield results. It is for this reason that the relatives and friends of the victims are calling to the government to, as a matter of urgency, secure the release of their relatives.
And I'm here to talk about my auntie. She's the only person I have and no one I have. Please, government should help us and release them in Jesus' name.
That's not been easy because during this rainy season, for you to be sleeping at home, even in your bed, the weather is too cold. Talk more of people that are in the bush. So you will not sleep. You just wake up and start crying and start praying.
The trauma has been something else, honestly. We are still appealing to the government to please do all it can to bring our loved ones to us in no distant time.
The prayed government will come up with a tangible and workable solution before it is too late.
Today is exactly 100 days since our loved ones were abducted in the ill-fated AK-9 train attack. It was a journey of 2 hours that has turned to 100 harrowing days. We have been appealing to the government and security agencies in the last 100 days to rescue our loved ones. But so far, we have not seen much.
We are calling on the government to do the needful. In as much as we are given the opportunity, you understand, to hear our views, we feel it is important. We feel it is imperative for the government to come to the aid of these people and they will hear their demands.
Government is talking of everybody going to school. Children no longer attend to school now. Students don't go to school because of fear of being kidnapped or being killed.
According to media reports, Ansaru Group said in an audio recording they will start killing the kidnapped passengers in 24 hours if the government failed to seek for their release.
A federal high court sitting in Abuja has asked to stop the All Progressive Congress APC from replacing Kabiru Masari as the running mate to the party's presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu. Shortly after Tinubu emerged as the APC flag bearer, the party submitted Masari's name to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) as the vice presidential candidate for the meantime. However, two chieftains of the party and delegates Zakari Maigari and Zubainatu Muhammad approached the court to stop INEC from accepting requests for a change of vice presidential candidate from the APC. The plaintiffs joined APC, INEC, Tinubu and Masari as defendants in the suit dated July 4, 2022. They asked the court to determine whether it is legally permissible for Masari to withdraw as the vice presidential candidate of the APC so as to be substituted or replaced with another person by the party with regards to the combined effects of Section 142, subsection 1, and Sections 29, subsection 1, Section 31, and Section 33 of the Electoral Act. And tributes continue to pour in following the demise of the Secretary General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, Mohammed Sanusi Barkindo, who died Tuesday night in Abuja at the age of 63. President Muhammadu Buhari, in a statement by his spokesman Femi Adesina, said Barkindo's undeniable brilliance and legacies as a dedicated public servant will remain a reference point in the oil and gas industry, international development and the environment sector. Senate President Ahmed Lawan described Barkindo's leadership of the global oil cartel as exemplary, noting that the deceased worked assiduously to build cooperation between OPEC and non-OPEC countries to save the energy market at a time of global crisis. Adamawa State Governor Ahmadu Umar Fintiri, in a statement by his media aide, described the 6 years Barkindo spent at OPEC as glorious, praying Almighty Allah to grant him paradise, adding that Adamawa has lost its proud son. You're watching Trust TV News Update. And still to come, after the break, gloomy pictures ahead of Eid al-Kabir. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us.
That's good. It's good to see you.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now another look at our top stories. ISWAP claims responsibility for attack on Kuje custodial facility. And APC delegates ask court to stop Masari's replacement as Tinubu's running mate. Now moving on to other stories. Former Deputy Senate President, Senator Ike Ekweremadu, is in the Westminster Magistrate Court, the United Kingdom, for the continuation of his trial. Ekweremadu and his wife, Beatrice, were arrested by the British police on June 23rd on allegations of human trafficking and organ harvesting that violated the country's Modern Slavery Act. The police authorities had accused the lawmaker of conspiring to bring a child to the United Kingdom for organ harvesting, saying the victim is a 15-year-old boy. Right now, we will be joined by Gbenga Onifade, who is going to give us an update on the ongoing trial. Gbenga, can you hear me? All right, so can you kindly give us an update of what happened in court today?
So, well, our dear Senator Ekweremadu is actually in court right now. They haven't actually been attended to, but they have been delayed till today from June, when they have been formally charged with Modern Slavery Act of 2015, whereby they said they have falsified, a child's age in order to to harvest their organs. So they have actually been in court. They haven't been charged yet, but they've formally been charged, but they are yet to present their case in court.
All right, I understand that there's a bail application that was actually made. Have they been granted bail?
No, the bail was actually declined. There's an option for Ekweremadu to be tried in Nigeria, but this is one of the things that they are looking to argue. And the Nigerian High Commissions are presenting them with a lawyer to represent them as well. But a bail hasn't actually been granted. They are in court yet to present their case today.
All right, so from your perspective, which will be better for Ekweremadu, being tried in the UK or in Nigeria?
Of course, he would rather be tried in his own hometown, because of course there will be more leniency, and there's actually there have been multiple versions of the story as well. Some people claiming that this child is 21. Some people claiming that he formally, of course, there was a letter that was also presented, which has actually been publicly seen from Ekweremadu, which was when he wrote to the British High Commission to support an earlier application for a visa by the boy. I think his name is Upo, which is allowed, to enable him to travel for London. So they are saying that the British High Commission, they are aware of this whole, transparency by Ekweremadu. But of course, when it comes to trial, he would rather be tried in his home country for the sake of leniency. He's somebody over there, and of course, because of this different versions of this story.
All right, well, Gbenga Onifade, thank you very much for that update. We'll touch base with you to get more updates as the story unfolds. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So that was Gbenga Onifade there, giving us update on the Ekweremadu story from the UK. Now, a federal high court in Abuja has granted permission to former Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha to travel to the United Kingdom for medical attention. Justice Inyang Eden Ekwo Wednesday directed the registrar of the court to release the travel passport of the former governor following an application argued by Okorocha's counsel, Ola Olanipeku. The lawyer argued that Okorocha, who is also a senator representing Imo West, will not abuse the order and will return to the country for his trial. Although counsel to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Chile Okoroma, initially objected to the application, he later agreed. The judge ordered Okorocha to return the passport to the court registrar not later than 3 days after his arrival in the country. Okorocha was in May arraigned on a 17-count charge of a 22.9 billion naira fraud. And switching gears now, with less than 72 hours to this year's Eid al-Kabir, prices of vegetables and some essential commodities in Kano have been reduced. But the people's purchasing power still cannot match the reduced prices. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibril, who went around some markets across the state, reports that government's inability to pay workers' salary may have worsened the situation. The report.
Yankaba is one of the largest vegetable markets within Kano metropolis. The place is always booming, especially during a period like this. Tomato, onions and other vegetables never cease from here. Few months back, a basket of tomato is sold at between 25 to 35,000 naira, while a bag of onions is at between 30 to 45,000 naira. Now the price has significantly reduced, but the purchasing power of the people is poor at the moment. People do not have money. Now that is Salah period, they are supposed to have money to buy the things they needed. Like me, I bought these tomatoes at almost 12,000 naira. But if you give me 11,000 naira, I will collect because there are no buyers. Back at the popular Kantinkwari textile market, things are somehow dry. Although women have taken over shopping here, but they say clothes are very expensive this year.
Everything is expensive. I came to buy veil and shoe, but I can no longer afford it. It's too expensive. I have to go back with my money because everything is expensive.
According to some Kano residents, state government inability to pay workers' salary is largely responsible for the poor purchasing power of the people. There is no money. Traders among us cannot sell since we don't have money to buy. I think government need to make things easier for people. With the high cost of sacrificial animals and the rising prices of food items and other essential commodities, things appeared bleak for ordinary people this year. And there are even concerns that these things could get worse in the next coming days unless something is done to ease the suffering of the poor masses. Idris Jibril, Trust TV News, Kano.
The Gombe State Governor, Inua Yahaya, has challenged the newly recruited personnel of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps to be professional and ready to address the current insecurity bedeviling the country. The governor made the assertion during the passing out parade of 173 NSCDC new intake held at Pantami Stadium, Gombe. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
This is a remarkable day for these 173 newly recruited Defense Corps officers full with firmness of purpose, commitment and discipline. Represented by the Deputy Governor, Dr. Manasseh Daniel, the Governor urged the new officers to be dedicated to service.
You are all aware of the challenges, particularly security challenges, that are now being faced every day on a new basis. We therefore urge you to do all you can do to contribute and attend to this challenge. I wish to call on the entire new intakes that are here to be dedicated, to be honest, to work hard in discharging your duties, and I also enjoin you to cooperate with other security agencies.
Commandant NSCDC Gombe State Waziri Babagoni urged the new officers to prepare themselves to fight all economic saboteurs by dislodging vandals and also to take the burden of protecting the country.
So they must also have humility in handling their issues. They should not wear uniform and then at the end of the day harass the public. We have trained them vigorously in terms of parade, drill, and then all the other legitimate activities that the government gave us and signed. So they will do their work diligently in humility and service delivery, and then every possible so that they can help the nation, so the nation can progress.
The new officers said they are determined to serve their fatherland and to display a high level of professionalism, humility and integrity in their service delivery.
And we hope and we pray and we'll try with our own acts to give the best that we can to this system and to also see the little change that we can make as God keeps us on earth.
We've been trained very well and we're going to do it with all our heart. We've sold our soul to the nation and we'll fight against insecurities by the grace of God.
The 173 newly recruited personnel of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps have undergone rigorous training for 3 months. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission (FCCPC) will henceforth sanction distribution companies and other offenders who fail to comply with extant rules and regulations in the electricity industry. Babatunde Irukra, the Executive Vice Chairman of the Commission, made this known at the Electricity Consumer Complaint Resolution Platform organized by the FCCPC on Wednesday in Nasarawa State. Irukera, who was represented by Adamu Abdullahi, Executive Commissioner Operations of the Commission, said that non-compliance of DISCOs with the regulations of the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission is a bane in the industry. He said that electricity-related issues ranging from poor service delivery in the industry are the highest category of consumer complaints received by the Commission. Now for a look at the foreign scene, where reports say British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has agreed to stand down as Conservative Party leader after losing the support of his ministers and members of Parliament. The embattled leader has faced a growing rebellion within his party over a series of scandals. A Conservative leadership contest will take place this summer, and a new Prime Minister will be in place in time for the party conference in October. In the meantime, Johnson will continue as Prime Minister. He had vowed to keep going following a wave of resignations from the government over his leadership, but was urged to stand down by senior members of his cabinet, including newly appointed Chancellor Nadim Zahawi. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.